I'm Sean Hussein,
I'm Arold Norelus.
and we are here two black authors, well educated. We both went to the same college, we're alumni. So me and Arold, we basically follow each other on Instagram, keep in touch with each other, and I had my book out first, and then I heard that Arold was coming out with his book, and I was just super excited. I had to hear about it. My book is about poetry and personal development and going on your own journey of becoming the best person, the best version of yourself. My boy Arold is.
My book is on financial literacy and proper financial management and teaching people how to become financially free.
Financially free. So we have two different dynamics that help not just humanity, not just the culture, but the youth, the generation, the people that look up to us, the people that we looked up to that inspired us to inspire the people that look up to us, if that makes sense to you guys. We were talking before the video started, when we were setting everything up, how as a community, not just a black culture, but just as a generation, as a society, we need to have more educated people, just inspiring each other. You could go to school and still drive nice cars. You could still go to school and have luxury things, the big house, the car, the wife, the husband. Like, you could do all of that while still going to school. And that doesn't get as much attention as what's being publicized on social media like that. So me and Arold are here today to change that narrative. We're trying to start something new, something unpopular, showing that you could go to school and still have nice things, man. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna let Arold go first with his book.
Yeah, so pretty much what inspired me to write this book was that I realized throughout going through high school that no one really teaches you how to be financially literate. Growing up, they emphasize the importance of being like English literacy and speaking language or whatnot. But when it comes to your finances, everything is kind of mysterious. People don't really talk about how much they make, their salary, and how to properly make their money grow and whatnot. And I realized after I graduated, I moved to New York and I had to figure out everything on my own in terms of getting a loan, pretty much getting a lease for my house to rent an apartment in New York, and all of those different pretty much money moves or whatnot. If I didn't have my father as a mentor to pretty much guide me and my history in finance, it would be very hard and whatnot. So I realized that I'm sure I wasn't the only person that had to go through this. So I pretty much wrote a book about the proper way to handle your money so you can best attack these situations and whatnot. So an example I say from my book is when I moved to New York, my company offered me a relocation package, and one method that I used was, instead of just directly using the cash to just pay for my first month rent and security deposit, I decided to put that in a high yield savings account and use a zero interest credit card loan to pretty much pay for all that, to make a little bit of money on the moving package from them. And I made an extra $200-300 from free money, by the way, because I knew of this. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people in different methods like that when it comes to managing your finances that people are not aware of. So I wanted in my book to highlight those financial tools available to you.
That's awesome. I got some questions really quick. So let's say it's the first 2 weeks happen, I get my paycheck from my job, I got $1,000, and I want to go buy those new Gucci shoes. That's $400 or $500. What would be advice to me or to others who have that same type of situation? They like nice stuff and they want to spend their money on that.
I'd say if you had $1,000, just got paid $1,000 today,
Exactly.
and you wanted those Gucci shoes today, I'd create a separate budget. I'd allocate maybe $100 or $200 to those Gucci shoes or whatnot. But this would be, first you would have to see what all of the stuff you have to pay for. So let's say if you have to pay for your rent or whatnot, allocate maybe $300-400 for that. Allocate some money towards food. And after all of your fixed expenses are spent, then with your play money, you can pretty much see if you want to spend all of your play money on these shoes and not go out to the club on Friday or whatnot, then okay. But if not, you can pretty much just budget some of that money to those Gucci shoes to get them maybe a month later.
Wow. Yeah. How did you become so financially disciplined in with your money, with the rent, understanding that this apartment is nice, but this apartment is more of my budget because I have this expense.
I'd say it's about delayed gratification. I feel like if you can understand what's important to you right now, versus what's important to you in the long term. I feel like finding that balance between, because there's a sweet balance between like comfort and like luxury. Like some things you can do to pretty much, how would I say this? Some things you can do that's pretty much good for you right now, and it feels good. Like, yeah, I want to, spend 80 something dollars at Ruth Chris or whatnot, have you a nice luxurious, then you'll feel great sitting in that restaurant or whatnot, But then after you go back home, you look at your account like, damn,
Really spent that.
I spent over $100 something and I have nothing left to show for that.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's finding that balance in terms of like, okay, I want to treat myself, but at the same time, I have some important things coming up, and that'll pretty much shows you like, okay, like I'm not going to spend all of my money all at once and then have to pretty much struggle for a little bit, and then if any emergency expenses come up, you have no cash on hand to take care of that.
Awesome, bro. That's a great segue for my book. That's like something we probably have in common with our book. My book is about like your long-term goal personally. Taking it day by day to get better and becoming the best version of yourself. Now, we understand that it doesn't happen overnight. It's like you said, delayed gratification. It's weeks, months, days, years getting up to the person you want to become. So to try to want it so fast or trying to get to a place so fast, it defeats the purpose, because it's about the journey. Like my book, I mentioned a lot that the journey is like success, like that. You're in your destination. You're in your journey longer than you're in your destination. Exactly. So it's like you're in that process way longer. Like for us, when we went to college, we were in college way longer than we were on stage getting our bachelor's in both finance and English. So it's about the journey, the people you met in the journey, all the classes you took, the teachers you met, the past assignments, failed assignments, trying to become better. So yeah, I think our book shares that common theme of it's the journey rather than the destination, and we're in the journey way longer than the destination. We find out who we are in the journey rather than the destination. Destination's cool. I mean, we think about it a lot, but in essence, bro, we live in the journey. Like we're in our journeys right now as well. So I think that's a good common element that both of our books have together, honestly. So what made you want to write your book, and what was the hardest part so far?
Hardest part about writing the book?
Yeah. First, what made you want to write it? I know you said like finance and stuff like that, and there's other finance books out there, but what makes your book, what made you want to write it? What made your book what makes your book unique from other books? That's my first part. I know I asked a lot of questions, but we got to get to it. What makes your book unique from it? And after that, what was the hardest part about your book?
I'd say what makes my book unique, I realize if you were to look up financial literacy on Amazon and pretty much Barnes & Nobles everywhere, you won't see a black person hitting a money spread on top of a Mercedes-Benz. I feel like this is really eye-catching and whatnot. So in terms of like financial literacy, it's mainly seen as like a boring topic. People don't really want to, it's like a more of a bore, pretty much. People don't really get excited talking about it, So I wanted, it's pretty much a book that shows someone that looks like me on the cover, pretty much showing what financial freedom can be like. And if that's, hitting a money spread on top of a money spread.
And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you, Aaron has socks, money socks. I think he knew we were doing this, and he's I picked the socks. He has money socks on right now, and I think that's that's like all in with the author. I think that was pretty cool. Keep going.
That's all good. But I feel like financial literacy is not really an exciting topic, and I want to change that narrative, and I want to pretty much have more exciting conversations about properly managing your money, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to make money, everyone wants to pretty much have more and live a more fruitful life or whatnot, but there's certain things that you have to do in order to achieve that life, And what was
That's literally the same with my book. There's certain things you have to do to achieve personal development, personal growth, personal information about yourself that you find in that journey. So like I said, these concepts and elements, they coexist with each other, despite genres of books or different type of topics of book. They all share similar characteristics. And my second question for you was, what was the hardest part about your book? in terms of production or writing or just coming up with ideas?
I'd say the hardest part about writing a book, I'd say, because originally I finished writing the book in the end of 2022, but I just wrote like the actual steps that like of budgeting, credit, and savings and all of that. But I realized after graduating and moving to New York, I realized that my story is what really brings the book as together as a whole, so that someone can read it and pretty much put themselves in my shoes. Like, I just graduated college. I'm navigating pretty much everything and firsthand experiencing how to pretty much properly manage my money in that way. So I feel like the hardest part was conveying that story, because I feel like it's easy, we live day to day pretty much going through emotions and whatnot, but to sit back, reflect, and put those words properly on paper so that the reader can understand that, I feel like that's a challenge that I've never had to pretty much think about because my favorite subject in school was math. I feel like, no diss to the English majors here. I felt like, reading was a little bit more subjective or whatnot. I feel like, let's say, for example, Johnny walks with his head down across the gloomy sky.
Yeah.
I feel like back in like middle school or whatnot, if you tell me to explain like how is Johnny's mood, I mean, I can understand that because of the gloomy sky, that paints the setting that Johnny's probably in a much more down mood. But back then, I felt like, understanding 1 + 1 will always equal 2.
Yeah, it's concrete.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's law is the same way as what you're saying. Law is very it's subjective. There's no concrete. It's very ambiguous. There's multiple meanings. There's multiple room for interpretation, and that's how English is. One of the key things I learned about English was that you have to show, don't tell. So with your writing, so I wasn't as good at math, so I was more of an English guy. I like to play around with my words. I like to put words here, put words there, and problem solve with my words. So like you said, Johnny's walking in the gloomy sky. I would say something like Johnny's walking with the umbrella and it's sunny out and he has a hoodie on and like stuff like that. It makes me wonder, like, all right, why would he have a hoodie on in the sun and like he has a umbrella when it's like sunny and like little stuff like that. So you kind of have to, like you said, it's ambiguous. It's subjective. You don't really get it at the first glance, but once you read it a couple times, like, dang, Johnny's probably sad because he has an umbrella and the sun out. It's very nice out. He has a hoodie on, like, or Johnny's maybe, I don't know, he doesn't like hot weather, or why are you wearing a jacket in the sunshine? So there's so many rooms of interpretation. That's like literally my point. And I fell in love with playing around with words and using that, and law just expands on that for me as well. But that's another talk for a different day. So my final question for both of us, since we're young entrepreneurs, is how do we maintain a level of balance between our everyday lives, things that we have going on, family, business, job, stuff like that. So I'll go first and then you give your input. For me, I had to learn about time management in terms of, my book, being in school, my law career, things of that nature, my YouTube video editing. I had to be able to understand that I have to set time for certain things and less time for hanging out with friends, and understand that my time is valuable. I have to use each day I wake up as a mindset, as a reminder that I have a day to get better today, and I have a day to be very productive in multiple areas. And I think entrepreneurs do a great job at being great at different things. We're a one-stop shop. With the entrepreneur, you can get multiple things. With us, for me, you could get a book, you have YouTube videos, you could get legal advice if I'm your client. If I'm your lawyer and I could be your client, I need a client and you're my lawyer. If I'm your lawyer and I need a client, we could legal advice, exactly. So yeah, it's just playing around with those things. Being a one-stop shop is like very key. So if you're a one-stop shop, you have to be able to make sure you manage your time wisely each and every day. Understand that each day is a day to get better at your entrepreneurship skills, your specific area in certain areas that you're working in. So for me, it's time management. I don't know about you.
I'd say I want to piggyback off your answer on time management.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very big, pretty much, thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because time is the one resource that you can't get back.
Facts.
Money will come and go or whatnot, but time, you can't rewind for all the time. And I realized, I work pretty much a 9 to 5 job, and I realized there's two shifts. You have your 9 to 5, and then your 5 to 9. So that'd be your 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or whatnot. And in those 4 hours, how you spend them are very important. Because you have pretty much for me, the way I would budget it is like 1 hour I'd give to myself to pretty much just analyze everything that I went through the day in terms of like at my 9 to 5 or whatnot, pretty much processing that. That can be either taking a walk, going to the gym or whatnot. And then I'll have like a creative hour, like I said, like 1 hour assigned to pretty much just come up with new ideas, whether it's for marketing, for myself, the book, and all the different avenues of things I have going on, social media and whatnot.
Yeah, I know social media. Social media is another key element to entrepreneurship in terms of advertisement. So
Absolutely.
maintaining all of that on top of advertising is like, I totally forgot about social media. Yeah, social media is very key in your advertising because, like my law professor said, she says this and it really stuck. It didn't just stuck for law school and being a lawyer, it also stuck for entrepreneurship. She said, clients shop for lawyers online. And if you take the broad message of what she's saying, customers shop online.
Yeah.
So we have to be, as entrepreneurs, we have to be on top of, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. So that's a key element. Also, I forgot about that social media.
It's like our main outreach to pretty much
Exactly.
see, so people can see us and what we do or whatnot.
Exactly. Everything's technology now, man. So like everyone shops online. If I need to go get something, I'm probably going online first. Everyone probably goes online first.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the key element. Thanks for coming, man. I know you're a busy guy and tracking down. We're both busy, So entrepreneurship, Black success, well educated. Anything else you want to add? Any adjectives you want to add to that?
Smart, go-getters,
Go-getters.
or pushing P.
Pushing P.
Prosperity.
Motion. The whole 9 yards, man. So, Arold, I appreciate you for coming.
Absolutely.
This is great. We need to definitely double back and have a part 2 of this. Probably an update a year, 2 years from now. Who knows? We're probably sitting Skyrise, Lambos pulling up, Rolls Royces pulling up. Who knows, man? Only God knows. Only time can tell, man. So appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course, man. Thank
For
you.
sure, for sure. I think we should switch books just for the,
Like a jersey swap.
Yeah. For sure, jersey swap.